This is the second part of my book review of 12 Rules for Life. If you haven't watched the first part, it's like a 40-minute long video where I covered the first six rules of the book. And so today, of course, we're going to cover the R6, and this is going to be the second part out of this two-episode series on 12 Rules for Life. So let's start. Rule number 7: pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. So, let me just pull this, okay. So, rule number 7, it is all about the delay of gratification. This is one of the longest rules in the entire book. This is simply because, like, Jordan went on a rant about religious definition of meaning and delay of gratification there. But simply speaking, what is experience? So first of all, let's define the name of the chapter. Pursue what is meaningful. What is meaningful? Meaningful is something that gives you some sort of a meaning, some sort of a purpose, some sort of a desirable result, let's just say. Maybe not now, but in the future. And what is experience? So, experience is when you get the immediate pleasure of, let's just say, fulfilling your impulses. But later on, you pay the price, you pay the consequences of, I don't know, if you, let me just do something with my lamp right here. So, for example, if you eat junk food right now, you'll feel good right now, but you'll have, I don't know, like a 20% body fat later. If you play video games right now, you'll feel good, you'll feel this sort of like, you'll feel the dopamine striking, just flowing through your blood, through your veins. But later on, you'll be just hit with this feeling of guilt and shame because you have wasted so much time. And so pursuing what is expedient is undesirable legacy. It is not what we want, it is not what we need. How to pursue something meaningful? It is just simply dividing things into two categories. One is delayed gratification, and the second one is instant gratification. This is a basic self-improvement concept that all of us like have learned. I'm talking like, I probably guess that you are in self-improvement, that we have learned, I don't know, like in the first days of just getting onto self-improvement, started watching those videos. It's like, this is one of the first concepts that we learn: instant and delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is what makes your life hard right now, but makes it better and more, yeah, it makes it better in the long run. Instant gratification is what gives you pleasure right now, but makes your life worse in the long run. So, of course, going to the gym might feel tough right now, although I would make an argument that after you've went to the gym for like a year or so, it becomes fun. So going to the gym right now, it is tough. Your muscles will hurt. You'll need to go run, but later on you'll be amazed by the physique that you have built. I don't know, eating healthy might not feel as good as eating a cheeseburger right now, but later on you'll have a just a, overall you'll have a better life, you'll have better health, you'll have better cognitive functions, you'll just be more proud of yourself. You have eaten healthy. This the same thing applies for any domain in life. You just need to divide things into two categories. One is what is meaningful, what is going to make my life in the better in the long run, and the second one is what is just basically hedonism, what is making my life kind of like a little bit more pleasurable right now, but it's going to make it worse in the long run. And pursuing the second one, it is the whole philosophy of hedonism. It's like, do what is pleasurable right now and don't focus on the future. But the problem is the future will come either way. And if you have not focused on what you're on your life in the future, on your future self, the future will still come nevertheless. and you're going to suffer because you haven't paid attention to the future. And so this is a very um this is something very, to say the least, important. Because if you are not focusing on the future, if you are just pursuing the immediate pleasure, you are not going to live a good life. Maybe you will die earlier. There's also a case to be made. So let's move on to rule number 8. Oh, this is an interesting one. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Huh. So, okay, with the truth, why should you tell the truth? In my personal experience, let's first of all like understand the Jordan's case for telling the truth. His reason for telling the truth is that things fall apart if you lie. What worked yesterday, the lie that you told yesterday, the way you deceived people, is not necessarily going to work today. And you know why? Things fall apart, as I said. And if they fall apart and you tell the lie that you have told yesterday, nobody will believe you anymore, and your reputation will be ruined. So why should you tell the truth? Because sometimes the truth is terrible. Sometimes the truth is not something that you want to tell. And this is why I like that Jordan put kind of like a little side note to the name of this rule, or at least don't lie. So tell the truth, or at least don't lie. So at least don't say something which is just untruth. But why, if you will need to say something and you know that you need to say the truth, like why you need, the whole reason why you need to tell the truth is that yes, you are going to go on a pretty terrific adventure if you only say the truth. Because sometimes, like, yeah, the truth is hard, the truth is terrible, the truth is just, it is madness. But the problem is that out of one lie, it has a snowball effect where it turns into a whole just package of lies, and then it turns into a whole like bloody catastrophe. Like the all of the states, all of the totalitarian states, and like this is also a case that Jordan makes in this rule, that all of the totalitarian states, so the Nazi Germany, the Stalin's era in the Soviet Union, they were run by the lies. They were run by just people deceiving each one another. And this is like, you know what it has resulted in. And so if you do, this is something, yes, this is something greater. It's more, I'm talking about lies and when people deceive each one another on the kind of like on the picture of a state, on the picture of a country, of a whole country, of a whole nation. But the problem is that we are not, if we tell lies every single day, we're not that far from ending up in this totalitarian state. This is something you need to meditate on. Why tell the truth? In my personal experience, the benefit of telling the truth is that you get a good reputation. You get a good mark for telling the truth, because if people know that what you are saying is truth, you are going to have an amazing reputation. And don't underestimate the power of reputation. Having a good reputation is basically, it is the foundation of having a good life. It is the foundation of having good social connections. Because if you are saying things and people know that those are lies, because you have a reputation of telling the lies, because you have a reputation of being the deceiver, like, good luck having good social connections. Good luck just making friends with people when they know that everything you tell are lies. But if you tell the truth, if you really try to tell the truth, or at least don't lie, it is actually going to make wonders for you, because people love honesty. This is something that I've learned from being on this earth, is that People love honest people. People love those who are honest, and people love those who are saying the truth. And so you can be the one who is going to be loved. Maybe you made some mistakes, but if you are actually apologizing for them sincerely and honestly, it's like, yeah, you're still going to have a good reputation, because most of the people will lie openly to the other person, and they will do it without any like shame on their face. But if you are going to be the one standing out and telling the truth, man, you're going to have a good reputation. So don't lie. Don't say things which are not truthful. It's like, I'm going to give a little disclaimer. Of course, this has like its own barriers. Why? Because I don't know. It's like, maybe it was this Jim. I don't know if it's like it was this Jim Carrey movie or something else. But it's like, you cannot walk around and, I don't know, a person comes up to you and says, "Hey, how are you doing?" And you're just responding, "Oh, you're fat." It's like, no, you cannot do that, of course. And sometimes we have to tell those like nice lies to the other person. It's like, yeah, this is probably fine, but if you're lying on a more grand scale, if you're lying when you know that the truth is going to be better, man, this is something which you should at least meditate on, which you should at least reconsider doing. So, rule number 9: assume that the person you're listening to might know something you don't. This rule is exactly what it says. If you are starting a conversation with a thought in your mind that you are the one who is a genius and the other person is ignorant, man, you're going to be the one who is ignorant. Because the problem is, if you know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, it's almost something that every single one of us falls into sometimes. So the Dunning-Kruger effect is something, it's basically when you learn something, at least like a tiny bit in a certain domain, in a certain like life, I don't know, like, yeah, domain, and you think that you are the genius there, you think that you are the smartest, most intelligent, most knowledgeable person in this part of life, when in fact you're not. The problem is that the people who know more than you, much more than you know, they're not making the case that they're the smartest ones. And this is the famous Socrates quote that I know nothing. But there is a second part of this quote, and there are people don't know that either. And I probably have butchered the quote, but the meaning is, you probably understood what I'm saying. You know nothing, and I know nothing. We probably know like less than 0.1% of the information that is out there in the world. And you know that's fine, because the world is not only our planet Earth or the internet. The world is basically the universe, and we cannot know everything. But one of the virtue is right here. The virtuous thing to do is to strive for more knowledge. And if you are going into a conversation with somebody and you think that the other person is the ignorant one, that he doesn't know anything, you're just deliberately positioning yourself in this handicap where you cannot learn anything from the other person, and the other person might say something actually which is interesting. And that's why I practice just talking less. One of the things that I do in any single of my conversations is that I try to talk less. Oh, yes, if the other person asks me a question, I don't try to, like, I don't know, just miss the question, just like, I don't know, fucking go all the way around it. But of course, if the other person asks me a question, it's like, yeah, I'm going to respond to it. And sometimes I will talk, but most of the time I try to listen to the other person, because there's an opportunity to listen to the other person, and the other person might have some knowledge that I don't possess. And this is valuable as hell. You have two ears and one mouth, so you can listen better than you speak. And that's exactly why you should listen to the other person, and listen with an open mind. Because if you don't listen with an open mind, you're just simply going to dodge any of the any of the in any of the valuable information that the other person might try to tell you. And this is not good. This is not virtuous at all. So let's move on to rule number 10. Be precise in your speech. This is a very good one. This is the one I very much like. So, be precise in your speech. What does it mean? Imagine a couple right here. Imagine just a couple. They're happily in marriage. They have been married for 10 years. And one day, the husband comes the husband comes home from work, and the soup that his wife made for him is a little bit more cold than usual. What's the normal response would be to it? Put it in a microwave, I don't know, like just heat it up a little bit. The problem is that the husband starts yelling and screaming, and like he just explodes over this trivial thing, which is supposed to just be fixed like in less than 30 seconds. Just like, yeah, put the soup in the microwave. But the problem is not the soup. The problem is that the soup has been cold for 10 bloody years. This is the thing right here. You must, and this applies not only to romantic relationships. It applies to basically any social connections, friendships, etc. If there's something which is annoying you in the other person, and he does it once, okay, you must pay some attention to it. It's like, yeah, might happen. If he does it the second time, you must really kind of like pay more attention right here, because okay, there is a pattern occurring, but it's still not that bad. If he does it for the first time, this is where you need to actually tell the other person, it's like, yeah, you are doing this thing, it's annoying, stop it. This is how you do it. Because the problem is that if you view things on a grand scale, on a scale of like 10, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, nothing is trivial. Nothing is trivial. You need to eliminate that word completely. The word trivial doesn't apply to social relationships when it comes to that amount of time. And if if something is annoying you, like in that example of the cold soup that the wife is making for his husband, it might annoy the husband once, but if it happens like on a scale of thousands of days, on tens of thousands of days, like, yeah, man, he's going to be pissed off, and there are of course going to be our problems. And so the this the reason why he will yell at his wife is not because this particular time the soup is cold. It's because um this baggage of problems and resentment has just exploded. So how can you manage it? And I'm going to say one more thing. This is exactly the 10th rule in the book Beyond Order, so the sequel of 12 Rules for Life, is plan and work diligently to maintain the romance in your relationship. This is a chapter exactly. This is kind of like the same thing. It's like, if you are willing to stay happy in a relationships, in a marriage for years, maybe till the end of your life, you'll need to work. It's romance and relationships. It's not something that is just that is out there. Of course, it's not. It's something that you will need to work on. And if you don't work on it, this won't appear. This won't stay. As simple as that. But more than that, as I said, not, if you are not kind of responding to those annoying trivial things, those become untrivial, those become serious, and they mount up in a massive problem, which is of course something that we don't want to, which is of course something that we don't want to experience in our lives. So, how do you manage it? How do you actually make things less annoying? Let's just say. How do you uh, destroy that resentment that you have for the other person? The only answer to this is speak in a precise way. The only answer is like, if that husband would have come up to his wife 10 years ago and he would tell her, okay, the soup that you are making is great, but it's a little bit cold, so can you heat it up a little bit before you serve it? Boom, precisely, problem solved. It's like it's solved precisely because the husband told the exact point which annoys him, and he told like, okay, can you solve it? Yes. Would it make things better? Yes. So there's no reason to not heat up the soup. Talking precisely in your speech is talking about exactly what annoys you. The word precise means exact. It's like the synonym. And if you're just talking in this vague way where you don't even articulate what you are trying to say, it's like, yeah, no, there's no doubt that you're going to end up in a miserable position. But that's exactly why you should say things. You should talk about the things which annoy you, just simply because it's like, if you don't talk about the things which annoy you, you are not going to solve the things which annoy you. It's like, understandable it is. Probably, yeah, you like, I hope you understand what I'm saying right here. Simply talk and try to solve the things which annoy you, the concrete things. Don't talk in a vague way where this husband would have started yelling about this cold soup just just simply because, like, here's the thing, is like, he's not yelling because of the soup itself. He's yelling because his marriage, like the marriage itself, has been just destroyed for the last 10 years. So what does this husband do? So what does this husband must do? He must talk in a precise way. It's as simple as that. So let's move on to. And I have a running nose. I had a running nose for like the last week or so. So bear with me. Rule number 11: do not borrow children when they're skateboarding. So that's the longest bloody chapter in this book, but the thing is, I will not talk about it that much because the whole idea is it is a rule about parenting. The whole idea is children love risk taking. They love doing things that are dangerous. And the problem is that modern sorry, I made a mistake right here. Not children, but more specifically boys. Young boys love doing things which are kind of risky. They're kind of like a little bit dangerous. And here's the thing, the modern education system and the modern parenting system treats boys, it treats young boys as kind of like misbehaving young girls. And that is a very big problem. Because if you put a bunch of young boys who are full of energy and I wouldn't say testosterone because like they don't have like huge levels of testosterone before they're like before they hit puberty. So of course, but they're just young kids who are energized, who are willing to play. And if you put them in a class of 30 people, 30 are young boys, just young kids, And then you are surprised, like, why are they misbehaving? There's something wrong with you. Because boys are naturally, they are not going to sit and just do nothing and listen and obey. Yeah, yeah, you might, it might happen when the boys are, I don't know, like 14, 15, 16, and older than that. But the problem is if you put a young, I don't know, 6-year-old young boy into a class and you're wondering why he's misbehaving, it's like, man, you're either stupid or you're just not willing to accept the truth that young boys are not going to sit in your bloody, like, system of obeying, and they're going to listen and just respond politely. Of course, it's not going to happen. They're going to throw around your class chairs and, like, destroy anything that is in their way. It's just as simple as that. And that's why it's like, it's such a big problem that the modern education system, and especially the modern parenting system, treats boys like they're some, like, misbehaving girls, because they're not. And this is a big problem. If you are, of course, I'm not a parent, and you are nor probably you are a parent. Like, my their mind is like, they're fuck. But the thing is, if you treat boys like they're misbehaving girls, you're going to get some terrible results. So, what's the solution to that? What's the solution to this problem? I don't personally know, because of course I'm not a parent. From what Jordan told in his books, like, allow children to take some risk, not the completely, like, stupid risk. Of course, you cannot let a toddler climb a, I don't know, like a fucking building. Okay, it's like, yeah, that's too much risk. But just let him do something which is a little bit dangerous. If your kid is playing basketball and you're coming up to him and, like, you start screaming that it's dangerous and you might hurt yourself, it's like, you just don't understand how the psychology of parenting works. Because this young boy who's playing basketball with the other kids, he wants to have a little bit of this risk. He wants to kind of, like, have a little bit of, he will eventually sometimes hurt himself, and he will have a little bit some wounds and some other problems. But that's okay. That's normal. That's how boys develop into men. That's exactly the process right here. If you just, and this is a much more broader topic than just letting boys play basketball. If you just protect kids from any danger that is out there in the world, the problem is that they're not going to develop. I see, like, the kids in my class. I have, like, kids who are literally studying in my class, who are in my grade, who I know for a fact that their parents, like, they're reaching their 15s and 16s right now, and their parents are still not allowing them to just walk around the city because it's too dangerous. And the problem is that, yeah, it might be dangerous, but you're making it more dangerous by not letting the kid, and he's not a kid anymore. It's like when the boy is like 14, 15, it's like he's a little bit more grown than an 8-year-old, and so he can cope with danger a little bit more, a little bit better. And so if you are just protecting him from the dangers of the world, he's not going to develop into a good man. A good man knows how to cope with danger. I'm so bloody lucky to have parents who have allowed me to walk outside, to be in the dangerous neighborhoods of my city, to just experience life when I was 14, and till this day, of course, I still sometimes walk around. But it's like, I have learned some lessons right there, and I have been, like, through some trials and tribulations. And I'm not saying that I don't know, have had I've been a fucking gang wars or something like that. But it's like I have developed some life lessons right there, and I'm much better at coping with danger and just adapting to it than the kids in my class who are like protected from the outside world. And this is a problem that they haven't experienced life's dangers. As as dystopian as it might sound, you need to go out and experience something dangerous. You need to go out and do something which is going to hurt you, because that is the way you develop yourself, not only as a man, but as a human being. So, the last rule, rule number rule number 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. So, for the most part of this rule, Jordan talks about the disease that his daughter had in not only in the young age, but like till till basically she was an adult. And this is like a, I'm not even going to try to say or pronounce the name of the disease, because it's a bloody tough name for a disease to go like that. But the whole point of this chapter, of this rule, is that life is tough. Life is tough, and I have already covered it in the sixth rule in the previous video, that life is tough, and you will need to do something about it. You cannot just live by life's toughness. And the solution to life's cruelty in the sixth rule is that you need to clean it up. Not only your room, not only the place where you live in, but just your whole life. You need to clean it up. But how do you move beyond that? How do you actually enjoy life? By paying attention. This is one of most this is one of the Jordan's most popular sort of like philosophical ideas, and it's just you need to pay attention. If you go outside and you, I don't know, take a coffee, try to enjoy it. Try to enjoy it. There is this famous Naval Ravikant quote where he says that if you cannot enjoy a coffee, you will not enjoy a yacht. And this is a bloody universal truth right here. If you cannot enjoy taking a good coffee, if you're not enjoy like, if you will not enjoy like just drinking a coffee, you will not enjoy something like a yacht or, I don't know, a supercar, just simply because like your brain cannot divorce each one from another. For the brain, the Ferrari and the coffee, it's like it's the same. Those are the same things. And so if you will not enjoy buying a new car if you cannot enjoy taking like drinking a morning coffee. Then pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. If you just walk around your neighborhood and you see like some cat walking there, try to pet it. Try to pet it honestly, because that will make your life a little bit less miserable and a little bit more happy, a little bit more enjoyable. The whole point of this chapter is that we can do something to mitigate life's difficulties, and that is by paying attention to the good things in life. If you go to nature and there are like some beautiful views, like the trees, the field. I don't know, like just when you go to nature, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't walk around with your phone. Do something which is actually going to make you enjoy life, because life is cruel, life is tough. When your family member dies, it's like you're not going to be happy about life. You're going to be resentful. But that's exactly how you um, cope with life's cruelty. And it is by doing something which is enjoyable. Now, we need to make a distinction right here. Hedonism doesn't equal enjoyment. If you go to the gym for a year, you'll enjoy the physique that you have. If you just drink sometimes like a morning coffee, this is probably not something that will make you, I don't know, dead or something like that. But The thing is, like, yeah, I can tell you the basic advice right here that everything in moderation. Honestly, it's like, yeah, everything in moderation. I agree with that. And sometimes you can do this and that and that. And like, of course, there are some things that you should never do. You should never play video games. You should never scroll on social media. You should try to avoid junk food, at least for the most times in your life. But you can there are ways to enjoy life without it being more miserable in the long run. Go to a museum, go to an art gallery, go to nature. Just spend time with your family members. Do something which is going to make you enjoy life a little bit more. Not only in the short run, but in the long run also. And so with that, so 12 Rules for Life, this is the first book in my new series, which is literally called Book Series. 12 Rules for Life, I have read it twice. As I said in the first video, the first time I didn't really understand it. The second time I understood it much more. And I have watched a bunch of lectures and videos about this book, so I'm pretty competent to talk about it. This is the book that I think everybody should read because from what I found, this is like one of the best self improvement books out there. Not honestly, not only self improvement. Just this is one of the best books out there in general. Why? Because those 12 rules are precise. Like if you apply every single one of them in your life is going to become less miserable. It's going to be good. And so with that, I hope this will help you. And see you in the next one.